Hey guys, it's Metal, and I have some thoughts about Path of Exile 2, so I thought I would ramble and make a little video about some characters that I've played. Just as a reminder for any of you who have watched, all two of you who have watched my Path of Exile content, I do play solo self-found, so all of my thoughts and opinions are going to be through the lens of solo self-found, so just bear that in mind if you play Trade League. Yeah, I have some thoughts. I've played two characters. I've played the dragon you see here, which we'll go over first. And then later, I've also played a like a crossbow character. So we'll start with Mr. Dragon. So I'm not actually a druid. I am an Amazon, Huntress Amazon. And I originally started this character with the idea of using these Elemental Surge projectile nodes as a kind of like in and out melee ranged hybrid character. Which I think in theory works really well with the dragon, but there were some challenges. So I ended up kind of going with a little bit different tree. We'll get to that in a minute. I do want to just start with, though, saying, like, man, this character was really cool to play through the campaign. I think playing through the campaign as the dragon, as the Wyvern, is, like, one of, if not the most memorable ARPG character experiences I've ever had. You're freaking, like, running around. You, like, leap as a wolf, you turn back into a dragon, slash things, your wings are lightning, everything gets slashed and died, you barf on people, it's, like, crazy. It was so much fun. You do so much boss damage with Oil Barrage, which I'll go over in a second. Just a really cool character to play through the campaign, and it worked really, really well in the campaign's kind of, like, slower, more methodical pacing. But unfortunately, in my opinion, this game still feels way more like Path of Exile 1 when you get to maps and Endgame. It almost feels like it's a different game. It's like you play the video game Path of Exile 2 through the campaign, and it's really cool and it's really good. And then when you get to the end and you do maps, it's like, oh, we're playing PoE 1 again. We're going at 1,000,000 miles an hour with 1,000,000 mobs on the screen, and everything's exploding. It's hard to see like what's happening. And in that environment, I had a much worst time with this character, predominantly because of bugs. The character is so fat, like you can see, like as a person. Here I am as a person. Let me make my own person smaller. So as like a normal human, you're pretty small in this game, right? Like that's like a normal size. And then when you become the dragon, you're like friggin' huge, which is cool. But it creates some problems with certain maps where there's like lots of maps in this game that are just inexplicably like nothing but corridors for like no reason. They're just like not open. And even maps that look like they're outside sometimes have like, it looks like it's an open field, but it actually is like an invisible wall that like funnels you through this like narrow corridor where there's like a pond on either side that you can't stand in or something like that. And like those kinds of like small choke points and funnels were and are very frustrating as a character of this size. And then more importantly, when you do things like Pounce or Devour, which we'll just go somewhere and like eat some things so I can demo some stuff. When you do moves like that, there are a lot of times where you get stuck either A, in terrain, or B, just like in the floor, or C, like you just like bug out and you can't move your character. And I found those interactions incredibly frustrating in the end game. Let me knock the game volume down just a smidge more here. So yeah, the end game was like a lot more frustrating than I anticipated as the dragon. And the dragon also just ended up not being as much of a like melee ranged hybrid as I thought. It's a lot more of like just of a melee class. And I love melee classes in every ARPG, but they're always worse than ranged. And I think, specifically in Path of Exile 2, it has not gotten any better since the last time I played it. It is still, like, the most melee-unfriendly ARPG I've ever played in a genre that is already melee-unfriendly. Like, normally I just play melee, and I suffer the melee tax, and I don't care. I love it, because I think melee is fun. I'm no stranger to ranged characters either, but, like, in this game, I refused to play melee the first time I played it. Like, I played the mace class, and I was like, this is ass. I am not playing this. Like, you couldn't pay me to play this. Because there's so many explosions and choke points and area denial effects, and they all happen a million times at once in Endgame. Like, when you play, like, the campaign, melee's fine. I mean, it's not great, but I guess it's fine. It's okay. But when you get to, like, the Endgame, there's just so much, like, shit everywhere on the screen. You can't see anything. Like, there's an abyss, and 10,000 mobs come out of it at once. And you just, like, basically can't play the game without investing so heavily into tankiness that you basically have no damage. I'm sure that's better in Trade League, where you can overgear content and just buy, like, a really good weapon and really good gear. But when you're playing, like, at the cutting edge of gear levels, which you basically are always doing on SSF, because you're progressing through content at a faster pace relative to your gear, a slower pace through the content with worse gear, that becomes much harder to play. And so it was just really frustrating as the dragon. And so anyway, spoiler alert, I did end up rolling off, and we'll talk about my second character later. But I want to talk about some of the things that are just so cool with this character. So first of all, like, you've got your little rend move where you just swipe guys, and that's pretty cool. And I did this much slower throughout the campaign. I obviously have, like, actually, well, for solo self-bound, I have pretty good gear. For not solo self-bound, I have pretty crap gear. We'll look at all that in a minute. But I'm pretty fast now, because I've got, like, this legacy gem that I found, which just makes you attack really, really fast. But even when I was attacking slowly, it still felt really cool in the campaign. And then you've got this devour move where you, like, leap onto a corpse and eat it, and then it gives you power charges. And your rend slash that I was just doing will spend one of those power charges, and now I get this buff. So it's only cost me 1 charge. You can see I still have the other 2. And then it lasts for, like, 10 seconds. And your wings not only, like, become lightning and look cool, but you can see they're huge. Like, just an absolutely huge arc. And then you also get 50% extra damage as lightning, which is crazy. So the gameplay with this is, like, you come in and, like, you slash guys. And my buddy who also played a dragon with me, we were calling it weed whacking. So you're just kind of, like, weed whacking through maps. It's really cool, man. The flavor of this character is so cool. So you, like, slash a guy, leap in, eat the corpse, slash the next guy. Super sick, right? And this is, like, irrelevant content. I'm just doing this as a demo. But then you also have this wing blast move where when you stun, what's it called? Wing blast. So when you heavy stun an enemy with it, which I'm not going to do here because they'll just die, you clap your wings and, like, flap back. But when you heavy stun an enemy, it gives you a power charge relative to their power. So you have to heavy stun, like, quite a few little guys or just one boss, just one time heavy stun, or one rare heavy stun. It'll give you a power charge. And that feels really good, too, because I built my character with a lot of stun nodes. So I've got, I don't have this one here, but I've got, like, this node here, which is melee stun buildup, and then more melee stun buildup, and then projectiles deal extra damage to heavy stun enemies, which just, like, fucks hard. Hits really hard with Oil Barrage, which we'll show. And then for a long time, I had, like, these stun. These are actually really good, but as my gear has gotten better, I've found that I need less stun nodes because I'm just, like, dealing more damage. So, like, these are basically the only actual true stun nodes that I have right now. And then at one point, I also had, like, the stun support in here, which I've also pulled out as my damage got better. But most of the time I played this character while I was leveling, I had these stun nodes, and then I also had the stun support. Excuse me, I've got that winter nasal thing going on. So anyway, I was eventually able to get rid of some of those stun talents, just because with just basically these two, it's, like, more than enough stun with the damage I deal to still stun stuff. So the gameplay is, like, kill a guy, eat the corpse, activate the dragon wing, right? And then hit the dragon wing once. If it doesn't die, it probably is about to get stunned, and when it's stunned, wing clap. And then the wing clap, I love the wing clap move. It's so cool. You throw impact shockwave in it, and this is a lot like when you play the mace guy, and you get, what's it called, like bone shatter. And you throw this in, and so you basically are, like, sniping the guys that are stunned with your wing blast, and that causes them to explode, which stuns more things and explodes more things, and it's like a chain reaction. Really, really cool. And that goes really well into Herald of Thunder, because you're, like, stunning and shocking everything, and then you're wing clapping, and everything explodes, and then the lightning bolts come down. Very, very cool. Really, really nice little feedback loop. What I struggled with, though, and one of the reasons also I don't need the stun nodes as much now on this character, is not just the gear. It's also this legacy gem that I got. So this Alice Chimes. This is sick, and I feel like this is the first major criticism I have of this character's gameplay design, because I think outside of the bugs and being fat and being melee in this game, I think this flavor of this character is so sick. It's like the coolest shit of all time. But what was annoying, even though I liked being incentivized to build in a stun, I actually really enjoyed building in a stun and doing that, it felt like you were almost playing like two different characters when you played bossing versus mobbing, because obviously it's harder to stun a boss. So with the boss, you would have to like hit him a bunch and you would do 0 damage, but you would just hit them to get the stuns up, and then once they were stunned, you do oil barrage, which does 10 million damage and like kills them. But if the boss ever like got stunned too fast, which happened occasionally, or if the boss like did some weird immunity, or if maybe I just like clicked wrong because I'm a monkey, and I just like didn't consume my heavy stun at the right time with my wing clap. If you don't consume the heavy stun and proc it, if you heavy stun them with any other move, you're screwed. You can no longer get the power charge that this move gives because they're already heavy stunned. And now it's not just that you didn't get it then, it takes longer to heavy stun them because they get the heavy stun immunity. That really sucked. It wasn't too problematic if you did it right. It felt really rewarding, but it was like kind of jank. This basically solves that. And I really feel like this move should have some sort of quality of life that it just includes an effect similar to this. But basically, it's a really weird way to word it, because Path of Exile is a complicated, convoluted game that is confusing. But basically, this makes any other melee move that you do build combo points, which doesn't do anything at all, except that when you then use this move after you use another move X number of times, then it spends combo to guarantee power. So since it's 25% chance, if you do 4 moves, so 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 wings, you can see there's a 0 on here right now. I have to actually hit things. But if I do 1, 2, 3, 4 wing slashes, that's a different move. 1, 2. So there's 2 down there in the corner. You can see 2. They're probably going to disappear before I find anybody. I'm caught in the water at a checkpoint. Let's see. Come on, give me some guys so I can demo here. Oh my gosh, I'm in a chamber. I want to do this as a live demo because I hate all of the work I'd have to do to not do it. But this is the downside. I'm so sorry, dear viewers. All 2 of you. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4. So now when I hit a guy with Wing Blast, even though I don't heavy stun, I get a power charge. Okay? And because it's a surpassing chance, that just means it can go above 100%. So like if I hit, 12 times, I would get 3 charges. Okay? So that's sick. You just hit a boss like 12 times, and then you get 3 power charges. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like really quick. Pop, 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 pop. Wing Blast. Don't need to stun him, just get it. That is a huge quality of life thing. It's not even really about like the viability of the character. It just makes it so that you can't like screw yourself in a boss fight and your character is just like able to use its moves. So it's kind of annoying to play without this, and I would give it a severe dock in terms of solo self-found viability for that reason alone. I don't think this is required at all, but man, it feels nice to have. Like this, when I got this, was like, okay, this is like why it's good. So what's also cool is that, yeah, you have to do it with culmination. Sorry, I forgot to mention that part. So you have to add culmination to get the combo, and then this allows it to do that interaction. So you do actually need 2 gems to do it, which isn't a big deal because Wing Blast doesn't need that much. All you need on Wing Blast is Impact Shockwave. I use Enduring Impact because I do like endurance charge stuff for buffs, which is nice. And then this just is when you get a charge, a chance to get more charges, which is cool. So it's just like a charge generation, basically, move. So then, yeah, Oil Barrage is like your main boss kill ability. It also consumes a power charge, but because of all the interactions I just described, it is like super duper easy to have those power charges for Oil Barrage. You either A, eat a corpse, or if you're in a boss, you just hit them a couple times, Wing Blast, and whether you heavy stun them or not, doesn't really matter. You get your power charges, and then this move just barfs damage. This is like one of the coolest moves of all time. It automatically puts exposure onto enemies. So it's kind of confusing because, again, Path of Exile.jpg. But basically, the empowered version does still, even though it doesn't put oil on the ground, it like puts oil on them, which exposes them, and exposure reduces their resistances. And the move just hits. Like, I've never done anything like whatever this damage is, ever. It's like insane broken levels of damage, but the dragon needs it because it's jank, and that's kind of like the dichotomy of this character, right? Is like, in some ways, this is like the most overpowered, insane character I've ever played. And in other ways, I find it a completely dogshit, not playable character that pisses me off. It's very divisive. And my friend who also played Dragon, he went with the Flame Breath move, which lets you, like, fly around. And you have to scale that with Dot. I scaled this character like a hit character. And so the Flame Breath move doesn't work. You have to go Oil Barrage. And that's fine for me because that's what I wanted to do. I think it's cooler. But the downside is you, like, can't move, right? Like, when you go into that charge version of it, you're just sitting there channeling. And you just have to eat shit. So that's kind of what I mean about this character not really being ranged. Because you can't... It's not like the only move you can use in move is this little ball move. Which is really nice for clear, actually, and for proccing buffs because it has so many bounces. So what I like to do is I linked... where is it? Meatball. Yeah, Blazing Critical. So I built this character with crit. It's got, like, I don't know, close to 50% crit chance. And so you throw one of these balls. It's going to multi-hit. It shotguns, and everybody as it bounces. It bounces like 100 times. Magnified Area makes it shotgun, so you're hitting, like, each one of those balls. If you put it on mobs, it's hitting 1 to 2 to 3 times, depending on the mob's positioning, each time it bounces. So it's like 100% chance that you get Blazing Critical. Which gives you just 15% extra fire damage for everything. And then I run these gloves that convert all fire damage into lightning damage. So that has actually been really convenient for Soul Self-Found because I've been able to make an elemental weapon with an okay lightning roll and a fine physical roll, but then a really big fire roll. But that fire roll is actually lightning for me, which is great. There's no crit on this weapon, so if I had crit on this weapon, I'd probably be at like 60% crit or something insane. Because I'm at like 40% without even having crit on the weapon, which is pretty crazy. And so this move is really cool, but it doesn't really fill that role of like a traditional projectile character because it just doesn't do like enough damage. Like, this is a fine clear move, but like maybe some people are bossing with this move. Maybe if they do the volcano synergy with it, I don't know. It also just eats like a crap ton of mana, which you can see over there. So I really like to throw this move like 1 or 2 and then go in kind of attack, and I'll probably just shut up and go do a map so I can demo some stuff. But there's like some really big issues with this character. I guess before I do that, I should go over some build stuff. I got it to 92. I had a really hard time initially getting to 90, which I normally don't. And it was because I kept dying because I would like find myself locked down as a dragon. And then you go to dodge roll, but your guy is so fat that when you dodge roll, you like don't go anywhere, you get stuck, and then you just eat like some ground mechanic that normally you would just walk out of or roll out of or whatever. Or even worse, you're like sitting here, you know, barfing on a guy, killing him, and then you like go to leap, and you expect your leap to do what it just did there, but it actually doesn't. It like bugs out and doesn't move, or you get stuck in the ground, and then you can't move at all until you can leap again, which is like a cooldown. Let me show you this video to illustrate how terrible that can be. This one. This is how bad it can be. So I'm now stuck. All I did was leap. I didn't do anything weird. I'm a dragon. I'm a wolf. Nothing works. I'm a wolf. I'm a dragon. I'm stuck. I'm getting pelted at. I'm losing all of my honor from the Sekima trial. And then it teleports me down. Because the game doesn't know what to do. And then it teleports me up. I finally leap to some arbitrary spot that it thought was okay, and now I'm free. That is not even that uncommon. I have never had it teleport me down like it did there. Like, that's the only time I've ever seen it teleport me through the map. But I have been stuck in exactly that way on not just that map, especially on that map, but not just that map, on every map, multiple times. It is infuriating to be just zooming through a map, living your life, and then you are just stuck, like, in some arbitrary hole in the map that you can't move out of while a monster, like, walks up to you slowly with a hammer and just one-shots you. Because you're supposed to be able to dodge it, but you can't because you're stuck in the map. It's really frustrating. I hated that. Anyway. So the way I built this character is initially I intended, you can kind of see what I meant from the rolling magma. I initially wanted to use these elemental surge abilities. They work really, really well with oil barrage. Maybe not really well, but they work well. They make it do more damage. It already does so much damage. It just hits super hard. It's super good. But it's awkward to keep the charges up because you're not constantly spending power charges, because your swipe only eats a power charge once every like 10 to 15 seconds because the buff doesn't refresh itself. It only adds the buff when the buff is missing. So that makes it a little bit awkward. And then also when you do rolling magma, these 3 balls, because you're going to want multi-shot on it, But these 3 balls will eat one time. The first time they come out, they'll eat 1 projectile. And then after that, they're considered chaining, and they don't, even if you have the surges to eat, it won't eat them. So you're really only surging people right in front of you. It just ended up being a lot. I really wanted it to work conceptually. I wouldn't say it was a total failure, but it was very suboptimal. And so I ended up just going these generic, like, here's some extra crit from accuracy, and here's some extra fizz damage from accuracy nodes, because it's just damage. This node's really, really good, but not as good as some other nodes, which we'll get to later. And then, you know, free life leech on Ellie seems to work with the build. So I would say this worked pretty well. The starting point is pretty good. You're close enough to Armour, and I do find generally that Armour feels better as a dragon, so I would recommend Armour over Evasion. But Evasion with Deflection is what I ended up doing because it was just closer on the tree. And it feels pretty good for most things, but I don't know. As a melee character relying predominantly on Evasion with Deflection, I have pretty good Deflection. I have 66% chance to deflect, 50% damage reduction, a shit ton of Evasion. There are still times where I would just get swarmed and just eat shit and die. And I felt really bad, especially if I was, like, caught. And I feel like this character has, like, something close to, like, 30,000 EHP in Path of Building. Like, I have max all res except Chaos, which is 70 as opposed to 75. I have the +2 to Lightning max, which I'll talk about in a second. At any rate, there were still issues I had with survivability, and that was, like, kind of shocking to me. I think I would have had a lot less issues if I was a more armor-focused Ascendancy, or if I was a more mobile range-type character like the Flame Breath as opposed to the Oil Barrage build. But that was kind of problematic. A quick aside, yeah, I ended up taking this +2 maximum lightning resistance node because fuck those lightning guys in the Temple of the Vol. You know what I'm talking about? They got the little cannons and they just stand back there like a million miles away and they just charge up and they shoot a lightning beam. And what happens is, like, you can't see them. They're really far off the screen, and this stupid Vol Temple map funnels you into the little doorways. And you walk through the door and you're like, hey guys, what's up? I'm here to maybe get some loot. And the second you step in the doorway, literally 10 of them will shoot you at the exact same time. They do an unconscionable amount of damage compared to every other mob in the game. I do not understand why that mob is so insanely overtuned. It's not like they don't need to be unique or rare or whatever. It's just like the plain white mob just does so much damage. So I ended up needing to get +2 lightning res to help with that. I also played around with armor. Armor with estimated elemental damage reduction, so armor applying to Ellie damage, from this talent, which basically allows you to use a non-evasion chess piece while still building for evasion. This helped immensely. I do not think you can fight those mobs without something like this, or mind over matter, or I don't even know. So I've got all this extra % of armor applying to elemental damage, and then I end up getting a neck that has % increased armor, which really helps since I don't have any on my tree. This plus the 2% extra lightning res was, like, huge for those guys. Like, they don't bother me nearly as much anymore. I still think those guys are insanely overtuned, though. Like, if a fire version of the mob doesn't do anything, that's what I really don't understand. There's, like, the fire cannon guy in the Vol Temple. He's the exact same mob, it's just his cannon is fire instead of lightning. He doesn't do shit. He doesn't do anything. I don't even notice him. He might as well not exist. The lightning guy, though, it'll just, like, randomly give you out of nowhere. It's insane. And again, I have, like, 30,000 EHP, which I feel like should be more than enough. I really like these Daze nodes up top. They're another reason I don't have as much stun buildup anymore, because Dazed causes them to take 50% more stun buildup. So that's another reason I was able to get rid of some of those stun nodes that I mentioned on the tree earlier, was because of these Daze nodes. I really, really like these nodes. They're very, very good. This attack node does a lot of damage. The rest of this is all just kind of, you know, deflection, herald damage, deflection, deflection, deflection. Got a little bit of pen here, and a little bit of pen here. And then I got a really, really lucky corrupt on these. Just like an absolutely insane corrupt to get. So this is what I love about Solo Self-Found, is like when you hit... This isn't like an amazing item, but it's a pretty good item. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. It's like it's an item that I don't even know what it would go for in Trade League. Probably almost nothing, like on its own. But in Solo Self-Found, you're like, this is neat. Let's corrupt it and see what happens. And you're like, damn, I'm a lightning character now. Because I got the lightning pen. So it's pretty sick. So anyway, the rest of my gear is like not really anything to write home about. It's okay. The chest I think is pretty damn good actually. The weapon is pretty solid, except for missing the crit. It would be really good if it had crit. It doesn't, but if it had crit, this would be a really good weapon. This neck is cool, but, you know, the rest of it's, you know, boots are boots. Nothing wrong with them. Gloves are great. Rings are rings. So yeah, anyway, let's do like a quick little map with this guy just to kind of show you what I mean. And I'll just do like a random blue 15. And I do have a bunch of boss points in. Oh, yeah, actually, I'm glad I brought this up. I really struggled. I got up to these boss points so easily, and then I really struggled playing this character versus a lot of bosses once I put these points in. And it's because of that whole like thing where you're locked down. So like in the campaign, you just kill the boss instantly. And even in the early maps, all the way up to tier 15, just kill every boss instantly. But once you start putting boss points in, that's where the flaws of this character really started to, like, to me, become, like, apparent, where I couldn't do enough damage to bosses to make it worth how immobile I was when I did that damage. And that's another problem I have with the way the maps work currently, is, like, I feel like the discrepancy when you get those boss points in between a boss and mobs, it becomes, like, when you start in maps, the discrepancy is too small. Bosses are, like, too easy to kill. Bosses die, like, instantly. Like, I did, like, all the citadels and everything, they just died instantly. Like, I literally killed them in, like, 5 seconds or 10 seconds or some shit. And I'm like, well, this is crazy. But then I put, like, 2 points into the boss tree, and it's like, oh, now I have to fight the boss for a minute and a half. I feel like that curve needs to be adjusted. Like, bosses need to start higher than they are. They need to be harder at a baseline. But then also, they need to get less hard as you put those points in. It's, like, too hard from the points and not hard enough at a baseline. I think that's a problem. Anyway, here's a random map we'll do. Yeah. We'll just kind of mess around here so you can kind of see this character. Really cool character, though, conceptually. I'm really glad I played it. You know, just has some, like, ARPG problems. So, the worst thing about this character is when you start the map, you don't have power charges, so you have to be kind of, like, weird and be like, okay, here's some guys, hit them, and now I have power charges, and now I'm online and I can be a guy. Now I can leap in, and I can weed whack, throw our balls, get our crit proc, weed whack. Balls, crit proc, weed whack. And these guys are just kind of like dying. I don't even really need to stun them. But once there's like a big pack, you'll see a stun and then a wing clap, and then they explode, which is cool. So, I'll have to get like a little bigger one to have a better demo of that. But you can see like the little white bubble, wing clap, and then they blow up. It's neat. And so when it's like a bigger pack of like more relevant mobs, you can kind of like chain that explosion a lot better. But that's pretty much it. You just kind of like run around and swipe shit. I've got some stuff on my pounce. Yeah, so Holy Descent, which is just like consecrated ground, and then it also procs Sniper's Mark, which gives me frenzy charges, and I'm running a pressing aura for more stun, and then charge regulation, which is like buffs. So I basically try to have like all 3 charges somewhat consistently. More consistently on big mobs than on trash. On trash is mostly just power charges. Yeah, you know, this kind of thing. This is what you do. So, very cool character. I'm trying to find like a yellow we can attack here. It's rare somewhere, guys. But, you know, not the best clear speed. It's not, I wouldn't call this bad, but it's not great either, right? Like, you can definitely get in here and like chop some dudes up. But it's not like the kind of clear speed you would expect to have. Okay, here we go. We'll hit this guy. Barf! Oh, hang on, I ate my charges. This is quality of life. There we go. That just does like a billion damage. Like I could have kept barfing for here's another guy. He's just gone. He's dead. So for shit like that, it feels this is great. I'm glad there's a breach here. We can look at some of the stuff that's more problematic. It just feels so good, man. Just like barfing those dudes. But once the bosses get like crazy health, it doesn't feel good anymore. And you'll kind of see what I mean. It's also really bad with swarming in my opinion. So we're gonna do a breach here. And the character just doesn't have like, you know, you hit your wings and you can see these guys are dying. But imagine if I like juiced this map, you know, something that was like more challenging. And then like, oh, okay, I'm getting like swarmed by guys. I try to roll. I like, now I'm stuck in a corner. I gotta roll again. You don't have like background effects exploding things, you know? It's like you don't have like, oh, here we go, see? And this is exactly, I'm actually might die here. Yeah, this is exactly what I mean. See, that's really bad. And like, I know I'm kind of playing like an idiot, but it's hard to even, like, if you try to play smart, it's still really risky because this character's just so fat. The way it rolls, it's like you very quickly just, like, can't move. And then, like, you didn't kill a thing, you ran out of power charges, and now, you know, but you can see, like, with this little pace here, like, oh my god, like, just annihilate everything. Like, no big deal. But, like, when you're trying to, like, do what I call, like, you know, PoE 1 speed, you know, mapping, it's really bad. Because you'll just suddenly find yourself, like, this guy's just gonna die. That's pretty cool. But then, like, that's like impractical, right? Like, most of the time when you're playing this game, especially when you get into higher end mapping, you're not really playing like that, right? And you can see, like, what I do here is I try to, like, throw some balls, get my buff up, and then I'll, like, barf on the guy. And then that's pretty safe. But if they're the kind of mob that just, like, hooks it at you, like, high speed, it's brutal. And I do not think it's a problem with me building this character wrong. Unless you think I built him wrong because I used the wrong move. Like, if you're like, well, Oil Barrage is just worse than Flame Breath, then okay, I guess. But, like, I wanted to build Oil Barrage, right? And this is how Oil Barrage works, and it's kind of jank. We're going to do this boss now. I think it might be kind of disastrous. We'll see. But, yeah, just really, like, way too squishy, considering how much EHP it has, because it's so fat, it eats so many ground effects, it gets stuck, it can't move. When it gets stuck and it can't move, it can't build power charges because it can't get away to set things up. The balls have I don't know if you guys noticed, the balls have a dead zone. So when you're stuck, like, sometimes you just aren't hitting the guys right in front of you while you're stuck. Then suddenly you can't kill anything, you can't roll out, you're stuck, everything's awful. It's trash. It's trash when that happens. They need to, like, make some quality of life adjustments. Here's a boss. I think this guy's literally just gonna, like, obliterate me, and I'm not gonna be able to do anything, but we'll see. So now we activate our power charge, and we barf. But I'm hitting the stairs! I'm hitting the stairs! If I was any other ranged character, that would have gone right up the stairs without any issue. But this move just gets stuck on shit. I don't know why. It's so bizarre to me. So now I have to build up my power charges again. And then I winged twice, which is also another annoying thing that happens. So you hit wing, and it just, like, I don't know why, but sometimes wing just, like... Oh, fuck. Hang on. Yeah, I have to concentrate. This shouldn't be this hard. I'm level 92. I know I've got, like, boss points in, but, like, this character, based on the gear level I've had with every other character I've ever played, I've never had to try this hard versus bosses. So I'm going to stun him, and I'm going to do actually really good damage. But it's just not that great because I have so many boss points, see? So, like, if you compare this to, like, what I was doing when I had 1 or 0 points in the Atlas tree for my boss stuff, this boss is dead, like, instantly. But the way the game scales makes this character feel terrible to play at higher level, in my opinion. Like, really, really bad. So I'm going to try and finish this guy. I actually thought it was going to be a way bigger problem than it's been. This is actually doing like shit. This is actually going way better than I thought it was going to go. But this is the kind of reason I stopped playing this character, is basically what you're witnessing right now is, like, why I quit playing this character. I mean, I'm also kind of playing like shit because I'm narrating, but, you know. Oh, I'm out of health pots. I think I actually will die, but we'll see. Let's see if we can get him. Hang on. I'm going to move. And barf. Oop, eat that. I might actually be a goner here. I just need to stun, and then I'll be able to win. God bless Life Leech. Done! There we go, she's dead. Oh my god, the double wing clap is so frustrating. I swear on my grandmother's grave that I'm only pressing wing clap once. What I think happens is, like, the move goes so fast that I use it on a mouse button. I don't know if you guys can't see my mouse. Well, anyway. I press my side mouse button, and I think what happens is, like, I don't release it soon enough, and it just assumes I want to just, like, hold this. But I'm just trying to press it. I'm not, like, holding it really. It's just, like, a really finicky move. I feel like it needs, like, a dead zone. So you can see that was a real struggle. As a reminder, I have quite a few boss points in. So, again, when I was at 0 boss points or 1 boss point, this character just, like... I thought this was the most OP character I had ever played in a game, like, for a while. I was like, this is the most busted character of all time. But as you get more health, kind of, you know, on the bosses anyway, you start to see some of those flaws. So anyway, that is my way too long overview of this character. And if you're still interested in hearing me ramble, I will now show you the character that I swapped to. Actually, I should identify these items first.
Yes.
See if I got anything good crossbow-wise. Not bad, but it's elemental. I don't care about this at all. Alright, we'll just sell these and put some stuff in the old stash.
A useful trade. Go.
Alright. So, the character I ended up swapping to after the dragon is this... he is a crossbow tactician mercenary. Mercenary tactician. This character felt like shit for about 20 to 25 levels. I was like, crossbows are ass. I don't know how anybody plays this shit. Like, conceptually, I want to play crossbows. They seem really cool, but I don't know what the hell is going on with this crossbow shit. It's terrible. But then, once I got past, like, level 25 or so, it started to kind of, like, come together. So I think the crossbows are not great at really, really low levels, but they actually feel really good after that. So this guy has a couple things about him that I want to highlight, like, immediately that are just, like, a night and day quality of life difference. And I guess the first one, actually, is just that, you know, I'm not a dragon. So, like, it's not as cool. I'm just a dude. But I don't, like, fucking get stuck all the time when I roll and shit. I mean, you do still sometimes because this game's got some jank even for that. But it's like 1/50th as much of a problem as it is, you know? The other thing is that this character is... I kind of express how much tankier this character is than my dragon. It is so much tankier. Like, I was like, did this game change when I was playing the dragon? I don't know. Is there something I don't know? And the answer is just that the kinds of defensives that I think my Huntress had for the kind of character the dragon is, I think did not go well together. This move, though, this talent is bonkers. Like, when I did the Trial of Sekima on my dragon, it took me, like, I don't even know how many tries. The fourth one, the final one, where you kill Zakran, or whatever his name is, Zoran, to get your last 2 ascendancy points. It took me so many more tries than it ever did on, like, any previous character that I played. And it was because I would get stuck the way I showed in the video earlier. Or even if I wasn't stuck that bad, I would just have to, like, navigate down a hallway. And then, like, the way when I attacked the boss, I, like, did my flame barf, my oil barrage, and it just, like, hit the stairs and just disappeared inexplicably. That, like, verticality issue, which I don't know why it, like, only affects oil barrage and not other moves, but that would happen all the time in Trial of Sekima. This character, I rolled in, I'm, like, under-geared, I'm under, like, leveled. I just roll in, and I'm like, oh, there's some guys up the hill, and I just, like, shoot them with my crossbow, and they die. I, like, one-shot Zoran. Like, he just didn't do anything. And it's just because, like, this character is ranged, and this game is shit for melee, and this game is shit if you're fat, and if you're a fat, shitty melee dragon, it's double shit. But then also, this move is just crazy, because you get defend with 200% of armor. I don't know exactly how the math works with regard to the maximum fizz reduction being 50. But I think the way it works, and I did Google this a bit, Reddit seems inconclusive. I don't think anybody has, like, fully scienced this move out. But what I think is happening, and I don't think Path of Building checks this, because Path of Building says this character has, like, 10k less EHP than my dragon. There's no fucking way. This character has, like, 1 billion times more EHP than my dragon. What I think happens is, you're capped at, like, 50 at, like, the baseline, but you still defend with 200% of armor, which is like triple armor, right? Because it's like 100% plus 100 plus 100. So that also feeds in to the elemental damage reduction from armor applies to elemental damage. So I only have like 37% on this character. What did I have on my dragon? Like 65? This character is so much tankier. The elemental hits. I do not have max res. I had like 77 lightning res on my dragon. I only have 75. This character can take 4 times as much damage, probably, as my dragon. Maybe more. I don't even know. It's insane. It is night and day. It is not comparable. And that doesn't even consider, like, that would still be the case if this character was melee. He's not. This character just shoots a crossbow. I can off-screen everybody. So, let me go to a non-map just to illustrate the way some build options work. And I will start... Go back to that same solitary confinement area because it's pretty. So, this character was a lot more confusing for me to build. I'd never played crossbows before, and just the general interactions to me were kind of like unintuitive. So I started with armor piercing rounds, which is like the rapid fire ability. And that was cool because you would pierce armor with it, and then I wanted to build around high velocity rounds just because I think this move's cool. It's like a railgun, basically. It just like shoots a straight line that pierces and does like a lot of damage. I'm like, yeah, that's really neat. I ended up swapping to... I ended up adding poison to the build, and then I realized I could use gas grenade with the corrosion node to break armor. So now I just shoot a gas grenade, and it's a little jank because you gotta like make sure the mob stands in for a split second. It's not very long. It's really, really quick. How quick I think you'll be surprised how quick it breaks armor. But it can be a little jank because like the grenades kind of like bounce or whatever, and you have to like make sure they go. But you know you can just fire like a few of them, and then they're good. If they touch that for half a second, their armor's broken. And more importantly, it means I don't have to fuck with changing between ammo. So like if you change between ammo, like the normal crossbow shot, you have to like reload to a different type of ammo. How do I do that? This way? Yeah. So like that's loading that ammo, and now I can shoot it, right? And then if I want to go back to the other type, I have to load that ammo. There it is, and now I can shoot it. So it's like a little bit. It's not terrible, but it's a little bit weird. So like if you can get away with not swapping ammo, why wouldn't you, right? So high velocity rounds has this thing where if it attacks a target that has fully broken armor, then it applies Riven armor. And Riven armor is it's a lot like Impale, where it basically stores a percentage of the hit that you're hitting, and then the next hit like does that damage from the hit. And I spent a long time trying to figure out like, do I apply Riven armor and then use like fragmentation rounds, or Riven armor then armor piercing so I can like hit fast and proc the Riven armor? And the answer is like, no, you just keep shooting the same move. So it eats its own Riven armor and applies a new Riven armor, and you just keep. It was much simpler than I thought. So you don't have to do anything weird. You just like grenade them to break the armor, and then I also have this legacy gem, which is really nice. That basically every time you break their armor fully, they permanently take 5% increased damage up to 20, which is like that shit. That shit's bomb.com. So anyway, yeah, use corrosion, deadly poison for more poison, do some poison things. I do build this character with some poison stuff. So I've got ailments here, I've got some more ailments here, and then on high velocity rounds, I do also put poison in. The reason I went to poison is because of some goofy entangling mind shit that I'll show you in a minute. That is some of the silliest shit I have ever seen, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna get nerfed. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get nerfed. We'll see. Let me know what you think. Okay, so but the baseline is you just shoot a guy, and you know they die, and it's cool. It's like a big yeah, and they're all dead because Herald of Plague, which I'll show you. But it's like a cool sniper guy. You know, I really love the feel of that. It's like a lot of damage on that one guy. And so for a while I was like, this is really cool. I was leveling, but how do I clear, you know? And so one answer to that is Herald of Plague spreads your poison to other enemies, which is why some of those guys just died. And that's like fine for baby clear. But the shit that I found out about, and I don't really understand this shit, but there's Entangle, and you put poison spores on. And the reason I say I don't understand this is because poison spores do this pustule explosion. And so they tag on for 15 seconds this pustule, and the pustule poisons them. But then it also stores poisons from other poison effects that you hit them with, right? Which could be like, if you put the pustule on them and then shoot them with your poison move, there's that. If the vines themselves hit and put poison on, that does it. If your Herald of Plague does it, that does it. And then the craziest loop is if you add bleed to the vines, you don't really care about the damage the bleed does, but that procs Herald of Blood, that when they die, it does a blood explosion, which does physical damage, which it can then poison. Okay? So it will poison. And then when it poisons and it explodes and it does the pustule, it's a feedback loop. It's batshit. So I did this like a really low level, and just like this move on its own, like without gear, without any kind of stats, you put the vine down, you put poison out, and everything just explodes. It's bonkers. It is absolutely bananas. You just shoot one guy. When he dies, everybody else explodes. Shoot one guy, everybody explodes. And if this is like a map, which we'll show in a second, I'll do like an actual map. If this is like a relevant map, when you get like abysses and shit, I think this is busted. And I don't understand why you're able to get... Okay, I think the interaction is like probably fine eventually. But I was able to do exactly what you just saw at like level... I don't know, whatever level you can get Entangle and Poison Spores. Like level 26? I don't know. Maybe lower? I don't even know. It's crazy how, like, this just invalidates any need to have any AoE. It just AoE clears the entire screen, basically for free, in perpetuity. It stays out forever. It attacks a million guys at a second. The more mobs there are, the more damage it does. It's crazy. And it just works really well with high velocity rounds because you just need to shoot one guy with like a big poison and then... Or like what's even crazier is like you throw the grenades out, the grenade poison counts too. So the grenade smoke is there and like whoever touches this, their pustule is instantly giga poison. Instantly. Because the grenades are like already pre-buffing the pustules. So sometimes when I do like a big pack of like abysses or some shit, I don't even like shoot them with my bow. And I have no points in grenade anything. I literally just like put the grenades down and put down the vines and then just everything. Just like everything implodes. Everything implodes. It's crazy, man. So I think this interaction is way too powerful at way too low of a level, personally. But I had a blast. I leveled this character so fast because I just literally just ran at a million miles an hour, you know, through the screen and just like vines, poison, vines, poison, vines, poison, vines, poison, and just everything imploded. So then for the single target, though, you basically just spam high-velocity rounds. The only trick is you want to alternate between keeping down your grenades so that it keeps breaking their armor, and you keep applying the Riven debuff and keep, obviously, attacking a target with no armor, which does more damage, which more physical damage does more poison, which also does more bleed. I don't really have any bleed spec other than, the bleed gem in my vines. Let me adjust my lighting here. Apologies. Should be a little better. Whoop, that's too much. Good enough. So my vines have like the poison guaranteed, or sorry, the bleed guarantee, because I just want to always proc Herald of Blood. But Herald of Blood, it's really nice for your clear, but it's actually great for your single target too, because it has, as you can see at the bottom, a 56% chance to aggravate bleeding. And so since I use, you always want to use multi-shot in high-velocity rounds, because even though it nerfs, like, my sheet DPS is, like, way higher without it, it hits 3 times, right? And so that's just 3 times. 3 times 8 is bigger than 11, you know, like, way bigger. And it also means each time I shoot, I've basically got 100% or 150% chance, not that it matters, I'm guaranteed to aggravate my bleeding, pretty much. Well, that's not how that math works. It's probably closer to like, I don't know, 80 or 90. How does that math work? Three times, 50% each time, do something. Where's Gamdol when you need him? Anyway, there's some math there, but it's basically guaranteed. You're always going to be aggravating your bleeding. And so Herald of Blood is awesome. So you always want to do multi-shot on high-velocity rounds. I do poison because I don't have that many poison talents in my tree, so this is just like how I do the poison. And poison level 3 is more poison damage versus bleeding, which I'm definitely doing, so that's easy peasy. And you can see I also don't have any 5-slot gems on this character yet, and it already does, like... It does less... Like, if you look at the direct damage of Oil Barrage that my dragon does, this does way less damage. But if you look at practically, we'll see when I do a boss later, like, the practicality of, like, actually fighting somebody as a character in this game and being able to, like, maneuver and apply damage meaningfully while, like, doing mechanics, this character does, like, so much more damage because he can just apply that damage without giving a fuck, basically. So then Stoicism is basically, like, if you don't roll, then you get more damage. And so the Stoicism buff you can see is up here. It's 20 stacks. But even if you do roll, you can see it comes back really fast. So each one of those is more. Up to 20% more. So this is crazy good, okay? And then Heft, which is just Fizz. And then I think for my 5th slot, I'll probably do Determination or something like that, which is one that's like, you can move less fast, but it's like a more multiplier damage. Or I might try and do like a Lightning Attunement, because even though that won't help my poisons directly, indirectly, if I shock things, it will. I might do that. But anyway, that's what I've gotten those. Just real quick, Poison Spores, Bleed, Escalating Poison, and Branching Fissures, which just makes more plamp. And you can just, like, I mean, you can, like, put as many, like, you can see, like, this is, you know, you can just, all of these have 100 million pustules on them if they're mobs here. It's crazy. So then Herald of Blood, which is Bleed, Bursting Pustule, or Bursting Plague, excuse me, Magnified Area, just for bigger explosions. And then Admixture, which is like a whole another poison feedback loop thing. And then Plague is just Chaos Mastery. I don't know. And then I've also got War Banner, which I kind of was like not sure about, but this move actually is great. It's 25% more damage and then 25% increased attack speed. It's pretty nice, actually. It's great for bosses. It's really easy to build up on bosses. Like, you almost never use it, like, just during, like, a white mob that, like, doesn't build up quick enough. But, like, any boss, any, like, obnoxious, like, abyss rare, whatever, it's great. And then I just have, like, extra duration, bigger area, and then this is cool because it's just even more armor to elemental damage reduction, which is, like, a convenient, you know, just a little extra tankiness if you're fighting a boss. And then just, again, bigger area. So the only downside is you've got to, like, obviously be within it to get the damage, but it's a really big area. So let's do a map really quick, and I'll show you what I mean. I think this, like, explosion interaction is just honestly bonkers. Do, like, a random blue. Oh, yeah, I'm glad this has temporal chains, too, because this was another thing. I forgot to mention this, but with the dragon, he's like, I love that they changed curses to not just be constantly on the player, and it's like it casts in a spot on the ground, and then it's your job as a player to, like, dodge it. I think that's a great change. It's a much more interesting mechanic than just being permanently temp changed. That's, like, so stupid. As the dragon, though, holy shit, man. Not only is it hard to get out because you are fat, and not only is it hard to get out because you get stuck because you're fat, so you roll or run or whatever, and you can't. But on top of that, you have so much mobility as dragon, like, so much, like, every time you slash your wings, you fly forward. Every time you clap your wings, you fly back. Every time you, like, pounce or devour, you jump forward. And it doesn't do a great job of, like obeying where you want to go a lot of the times. And so you'll just end up like, oh, I'm just going to go kill this guy. And it will literally just, like, jump your stupid dragon into, like, into the curse, like, the curse puddle. Whereas in this character, I'm just kind of like a guy running around. And it's fine. Anyway. This video is already way longer than I thought it was going to be, so I don't know who this is for, but I'm enjoying talking about it. Hopefully one human being on Earth enjoys watching this video. Alright, so here we go. And so basically you, like, walk up to a pack and you put down some vines and you throw your grenades and you shoot them, and there is an infinite poison explosion and everything dies. And then the only thing that's left is the yellow, and then you just, you know, shoot him and he's dead. Let's see if we can get a big pack in here. We'll try and, this is just like one guy. I'll group some. You can do kind of like the Diablo 2 Javazon. These guys, these fucking lightning guys are who I was talking about earlier. I hate these dudes. Anyway, all right, here's a bunch of guys. You put down your little poison guys, and then you just, like, shoot a dude, and everybody's dead. It just explodes. Everybody just explodes. And, like, you can see the density in this map's, like, kind of shit. Like, we'll get, yeah, look at that. I have so much ailment threshold on this character. So much. I have, let me show you how much ailment threshold I have on this fucking character. Hang on. God, I hate these guys. I have 3,000 plus ailment threshold from this node. Plus, yeah, that. And max res and 2,500 almost HP. And that shit still... I'm not even, like, debuffed or anything. That shit still just, like, instantly shocks me and does 10 million damage. I gotta try and get, like, a bigger group here from somewhere. This is a ritual. This would be a great example. And, yeah, I mean, God. This interaction is absolutely bonkers. Here we go. Like, what? There is no comparison in these two characters. This character is, like, multiple tiers better. Is there a guy in there? Is this real? God, what? Alright. So, and then for stuff like Ritual, you can probably also imagine can be really problematic for the dragon. Because there's not really anywhere to move in here. It's like a small area. And then I'm going to end up getting stuck, guaranteed, on some mobs, right? And the dragon would be, like, so frustrating here. But with this dude, I'm just going to, like, pre-put down a bunch of these. I'm going to shoot a couple grenades out. And then it's just going to, like, chain through everybody. And I just keep refreshing my vines and throwing my grenades, and every now and then I shoot a guy, and the mobs are just, like, dead before they can even do anything. It's insane. You see, like, I just, like, was in that circle, but I just, like, walk out. The dragon I would have got, like, stuck on the wall and been annoyed and died. I hate shrines. Let me go get this shrine really quick. They're undeniably effective, but I really hate them. because you have to like deal with like getting lightning struck or meteored on the way in. It's like a whole thing. Like you can see this character just like, I mean, from range, just like shreds shit, dude. It's crazy. Put down some more vines. Shoot a couple grenades. The explosions begin, and everything dies. Keep putting vines down. Roll through some guys. We're a little bit stuck, but we're not a fat dragon. It's all right. I don't know. Like, it's crazy. And this character's gear is, well, it's not a lot worse anymore. It was, oh, let me put the banner down so you can see. The banner, like, man, the banner. Dude, banner. Bam, bam. So much damage from the banner. And it's huge, dude. Look how big that is. That's like no big deal. And I would normally be going, you know, faster and stuff. I'm not doing a great job of narrating, so, you know, don't judge my clear speed too bad. It's actually, if you like kind of like, you kind of commit to just like dropping down the plants and running like that, right? You just like put a plant down, shoot a guy, put a plant down, shoot a guy. You can pretty quickly just like move through a map. Oh, I'm already at a boss. That's quick. I'll try and find an abyss though first, actually. And actually that brings me to my next point that I forgot to mention is a lot of these nodes with reduced movement speed penalty from using skills while moving are not only like actually way better than I thought they would be, but they play really well into this cluster here. And so this cluster is, not only does it give you that benefit, but it also gives you a chance to fire 2 extra projectiles, which works for both the grenades and the high velocity rounds, like the snipe shot. And you just get like way more attack damage while moving too. These nodes are crazy good. I really like those nodes. I was a little skeptical of the crossbow nodes down here, because like these are damage, which seems good, but then you get these weird nodes that are like 30% chance to not use ammunition, reload speed, which is good, damage for ammo type, which like it's really just 25% damage, which isn't bad for me, so it's like fine. But these actually, like immediate reload, 30% chance, but this actually really adds up when you're like repeatedly shooting. They're actually bomb. And then just like this reload speed node is huge too. Just faster reload speed in general is like really good. Oh, yeah, I didn't even mention this. I have 40% more immobilization buildup, which includes not just pin, but also heavy stun, which is just, that's crazy. And then just projectile damage pins. So this character not only does like really good damage and has infinite full screen clear. Literally anything you shoot is just immediately immobile. Immediately. Like every time. It's crazy. And when they're immobile, they're stunned. And then a lot of the time after they're done being pinned and immobile, then you stun them. It's really good control. And then you get like this tree, which is just more damage against anything immobilized, and then you intimidate them, which intimidate is they deal and take less damage. This character is cracked. Like, I think this character is really good. It's not as good as the lightning arrow character that I built, but that character was like, I don't know, monumentally cracked. This character is really, really good, though. Like, really good character. And, like, I'm already 90 on this character, and, like, I haven't even really been, like, trying. I've just been kind of, like, zooming around. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm level 90 already. You can see this guy's going to die too fast, but you can see the armor break and the permanent, our damage taken buff on him. I'll show you on the boss. It'll be a little bit easier to see. I just want to find, like, an abyss so you can really see, like, what I'm talking about with the plants. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Like, what is that? Like, I just think this is a wholly unfair interaction. I just, like, the fact that, like, I didn't even, like, really build my character for this. It's just, like, a convenient side effect. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been happy to, like, run around and try and snipe people frenetically. But I don't have to do that. I can just do plant spores and everything just fucking implodes. Like, I don't know. I think it's crazy. It doesn't really get old, man. Well, this guy's kind of tanky. Hang on, let me... Okay, so you'll be able to see... so he's got 5% damage taken. You can see how fast his armor breaks. He's already broken again. But, you know, the damage is honestly pretty respectable. And just, like, your ability to, like, play the game in a safe and noble way, oh, here we go, this is just, like, so much better quality. I think this game is just, it's like quadruple hard mode to play melee in this game. And, like, not in a way that's fun or challenging. Like, you just can't see shit. You just die to, like, look at all this fucking shit on the ground. We haven't even spawned the mobs yet. Sometimes these mobs are fucking unconscious. Look at this shit. Look at this interaction. All right, here they come. They're popping out, but guess what? They're just gonna explode as soon as they come out. It doesn't matter. I don't need to pay attention to this mechanic because there are plants on the ground. Like, this is like a this is like a night and day difference. I didn't really show this character's gear. I'll pull it up in a second. It's gotten better recently, but until, like, very, very recently, this character's gear was ass, and I still felt like it was outperforming. So you'll see my damage on the boss is lower, but I think you'll also note, like, how much more practical my ability to perform that damage. And the damage is not bad. It's not bad at all. All right, so see he's already armor broken fully. We're going to put down our banner now. Just takes 2 shots. No big deal. He's stunned. He did not complete his move. And while he's stunned, I'm going to put down my grenades again. He should be armor broken fully again in just a second. There it is. Put down a new banner. And this is like all but 2, I think, boss points. Woo! I don't know what that mechanic is. Narrating and playing is very hard. Oh, no, I dodged too soon. All right, let me put down my new banner. And now he's fully 20% extra damage. But I'm going to keep throwing grenades at him because I want to remove his armor. And again, like, you can, like, off-screen. I'm not doing it very well because my angle's bad right now. But, like, you can off-screen as this character really well, too. More grenades. He's fully broken. He's stunned. So I think that's pretty respectable damage considering the way this character plays. And again, just like I said, he's got a lot of boss points. So, like, he would be dead in like 3 shots or whatever if he didn't. These boss points scale way too much. My gear is pretty shit. I have a terrible weapon. It has such a low... Well, sorry, this weapon got a lot better, actually. This isn't a terrible weapon. I forgot I replaced this recently. This weapon's actually pretty solid. It's okay. I still think it needs way more damage range, and it needs attack speed. I'd rather it the crit is great. I'd rather it had some projectile stuff, but again, soul self-found, so it's hard. My weapon before this was dog shit. This chest is probably my best piece of gear. It's just got, like, really big life on it. It's got deflection. Oh, yeah, this character also has this crit stuff. So this armor gives you, like, less damage taken from crits, and then you get it also from this node. So it's like crits are basically like half as effective as they normally would be, which is really nice, actually. I have like an okay helmet. I have an okay neck with Distant Dreamer, which is like Chaos Res and Chaos Damage, which is a really good node. Decent boots, nothing crazy. Decent belt, nothing crazy. I think this ring's pretty sick, actually. This one's not bad. And the gloves are okay. Nothing wrong with the gloves. But yeah, like, this character's gear is really not that great. Like, honestly, it's not that great. But, like, the clear speed is just nuts. And it's that plant shit is... I don't know. The plant shit's crazy, dude. Plant shit's crazy. I think boss damage is pretty good. I'm going to keep playing this character for a bit, kind of experiment with some stuff. But I think when I get a better weapon, I think this character's damage will, like, really pop off. Because I think it's a lot more, like, gear-dependent for the weapon. I think it's way easier to gear in every other way, but, like, you are a little bit more weapon dependent on this character to get, like, a decent weapon. But that also means you notice the difference more when you get a better weapon. And so, like, this versus my last weapon, which was a pile of garbage, was, like, very noticeable. And I'm pretty sure my next one is going to be, like, solid. So, anyway, that is an hour of me rambling about this game and 2 characters that I've played. I think just closing out that this is a very good video game that needs to continue being the video game that it is, more so in Endgame. It needs to, I think it needs to double down more on how it feels during the campaign and feel more like that in the Endgame. Fewer monsters, bigger, more interesting monsters, and more, I think, slower but tactical gameplay stuff. More of that, I think, would be good. As it stands at the end game, it's still a really fun time. I've got 2 characters to 90. It's a good time. I just, I'd rather it was more like PoE 2 than like PoE 1. So, if you made it through the end, all one of you, who is me rewatching this for myself later in the future, thank you, and I will see you later.